Hello, fellow lightworkers and spiritual warriors. Welcome to the January 2024 edition of the 5D Messages from Mount Shasta. I am Dr. Christina Samesha, intuitive guide and author. I have been posting monthly podcasts of channeled messages from Mount Shasta, root chakra of the planet, to inspire and support fellow lightworkers as we shift into a higher state of consciousness and help the collective with this ascension process. Please make sure to sign up on my YouTube channel to receive my latest podcasts. Welcome to 2024, year number 8, the power year. Although I believe that the new year begins on the spring equinox, a large majority of the planet believes that this is the beginning of 2024, which holds the vibration of the number 8. The universal year number 8 represents infinity, power, abundance, balance, and the divine feminine. The number 8 is also ruled by Saturn, which represents our karma. So expect this year to be action-packed, and we can already feel this intensity towards the end of 2023. The number 8 also represents acceleration, as we are rapidly completing this 9-year collective cycle. And what a powerful cycle this has been. Before diving into the energy of January, let's take a look back at what we all experienced towards the end of 2023 and the insights I received in December. Although most of the planets stationed direct in December, we ended 2023, year number 7, the spiritual year, with some pretty heavy energy. Mercury stationed direct on the 1st, which eased a bit of the tension. We start the new year off with only Uranus in retrograde, but only until the end of this month. In the fall, many of us lightworkers speculated that something huge was going to transpire during the eclipse season in October, and it certainly did, which definitely began heightening the energy. By November, especially around the time of the 11/11 portal, the energy became super strange, and then stranger still when Neptune stationed direct earlier in December. And this just did not let up for the rest of the month. The last 3 weeks of the year, the Mercury retrograde was squaring Neptune, which made things feel quite off. Many of us had been struggling during that time, and we experienced some unusual encounters earlier in December. I know I did. It was as though the folks who were not self-aware and in line with this higher consciousness were behaving as their worst selves, and our worlds were somehow colliding. If you have been feeling restless, overwhelmed, anxious, and encountering a lot of drama within the last 2 months, you are definitely not alone, and this energy seems to be following us into January. Additionally, in December, everything seemed to have just been blowing up in our lives, which is being reflected in the collective. I personally had a difficult time staying grounded and had been feeling perpetually overwhelmed, unsettled, and have not been able to relax and find the joy I usually feel. This is so odd because I would have to say that during the summer and into the fall, I personally felt so very content with my life. Dare I say more content than I have ever felt. Although I felt the tension in the air, I was navigating October pretty well. But after the 11/11 portal, it just started to fall apart. I felt as though I could just not keep up with how fast time was moving and was burdened with this pressure and tension. I seemed to have so many unfinished projects that no matter how much I did in a day, nothing seemed to get done. And then just more seemed to be added to the list. I also encountered so many setbacks and unexpected problems. Many of us lightworkers are feeling as though there will be a lot of chaos in the 3D world in 2024, which may account for how unsettled we were feeling as we closed out the year. This has definitely brought up some anxiety and sadness, as we know that the hardship the collective will be feeling, as well as how difficult things might get for all of us when things escalate this coming year. With all the drama we experienced, it's as if the universe has been preparing us for what is to come, and wondering, are we equipped to handle a huge global crisis if we cannot even handle some of the smaller issues that are coming up in our daily lives? I also wonder if this chronic feeling of overwhelm is that on some unconscious level, we are not only preparing, but already processing what we surmise might transpire in 2024. Additionally, Pluto entered the critical point of 29 degrees of Capricorn at the end of December, which is also likely contributing to the tension that we are all experiencing, because we can feel the imminent collapse of our systems. I believe the highlight of January is when Pluto will finally enter back into Aquarius on the 20th, which falls at the exact same time when the Sun enters Aquarius. This seems to be super significant. Pluto is the planet of destruction and transformation. This year will be the last year that Pluto will move back into Capricorn, which signifies the final cleanup of the areas that Capricorn rules, such as government, corporations, financial institutions, etc. We will definitely feel some forward momentum in this Age of Aquarius movement by the beginning of next year. However, until then, we will have to endure a few more retrogrades before Pluto stations direct into Aquarius at the end of the year and will remain there for the next 20 years. However, before we reach Aquarius season at the end of January, we will have several planets in Capricorn. When added to Pluto still being at the 29th degree of Capricorn, things will likely feel a bit unsettled and tense. However, we have a Capricorn new moon at 11 degrees of Capricorn on January 11th, which also happens to be an 11 day. So when you add all the numbers together and reduce to a single digit, so January is a 1, plus 1 plus 1, 11, plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4, you get 11. With all of these 11s, this may be an indication that we have an opportunity to manifest some positive changes in the Capricorn areas of our lives. This is a great time to set some intentions that we have a smooth cleanup in the arenas that Capricorn rules, on both a global and personal level. Although we have been viewing Capricorn unfavorably, we've been emphasizing its shadow side. Capricorn, when looked from the positive aspects, is an advanced sign, as it's the 10th sign of the zodiac, and it represents hard work and responsibility. It's the father figure of the zodiac. It represents taking on leadership roles, but with integrity, which is what we are cleaning up right now collectively. Another important astrological transit that's taking place in January is that our North Node and Chiron, which are both in Aries, are coming closer and closer together until they fully conjunct in February. Our North Node is our collective destiny, and Chiron is our collective healing. Being in Aries, this has initiation power. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and cardinal fire, which represents the individual, the primal force, and self-reliance. Keep in mind our eclipses were in the Aries-Libra axis last year and into this coming year. It will be quite interesting what will transpire as we move into April, as we also have an Aries full solar eclipse on the 8th. April also holds other very significant and rare alignments, such as the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction in Taurus, which will likely make April an action-packed month. I predict a huge contraction in the 3D matrix that month, which may likely impact the economy. Chiron in Aries was also significant last year. We had a huge placement in March, and then it was in retrograde for a while towards the end of last year. But stationed direct in December at the same time, we experienced the Cancer full moon. Because Cancer represents the family, many of us release some huge familial traumas and inaccurate beliefs we created because of them, which is why we bumped into so many younger souls last month that served to trigger us so we could heal these wounds. Most of us lightworkers were born into families comprised of younger souls, hence more narcissistic individuals, where we endured a lot of wounds. It is highly likely that you recently had some altercation with someone that triggered these wounds in order for you to examine and release them. Because in the very near future, the puppet masters of the 3D, who are most definitely younger souls and more narcissistic individuals, will be throwing more chaos our way. We need to embody the Aries characteristics. Stand in our power and not be afraid. We know that the next big thing or things are coming this year, and it is time for us to step up and take the lead in helping humanity. Remember, we reincarnated for this job. It is time for us to take initiative, which is very much this North Node in Aries energy, and release our dependencies on these corrupt systems, the illusions we hold about them, and start creating some better structures. This is long overdue. We are here to show the others the way out of the darkness and into the light, which is why we are here right now during one of the most transformative times on this planet. Pluto will stay in Aquarius until September 1st, but will retrograde back into Capricorn and re-enter Aquarius in December, where it will stay for the next 20 years. This last backtrack into Capricorn will likely create some crumbling in the 3D. Additionally, in September, we will be experiencing our second eclipse season, where Pisces will now enter into the mix, as we'll be changing nodes in the Pisces-Virgo axis at the beginning of 2025. Keep in mind, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac and signifies completion, and it will be active in 2025, which is year number 9, also known as the year of completion. It is highly likely that we will have another chaotic month in September that will likely last until the year end. Remember, eclipses represent highly transformational times. If you recall, in August of 2017, we had a full solar eclipse that also passed through the US. At that time, the new moon was in Leo, which represents the ego, and the North Node, who was in Leo. In 2017, we were working with the Leo-Aquarius axis. Aquarius represents the collective and humanity. 2017, numerological year number 1, was the beginning of this new cycle within this massive shift in consciousness. This eclipse set the tone for what we were to examine collectively, which was about illuminating and cleaning up the ego and doing what's best for the collective. It is interesting that on April 8th, we will have another total solar eclipse intersecting the eclipse we just had in 2017 in the United States. And our last eclipse, back in October, also passed through the United States. I do not think that it was a coincidence that the war in Israel started during this last eclipse, as well as during our spiritual year. Also of significance, the war in Ukraine started precisely when the U.S. had its Pluto return in February of 2022. This is extremely significant in part of this global transformation that we are experiencing, that this will hopefully be an end to war and conflict. It is time that our planet evolved into a higher state of consciousness, and the only solution is to find compromise and peace, which is in alignment with Aquarian ideals. Something I have mentioned in previous podcasts is that we need to keep in mind that each of us is powerful and that we are the creators of our collective reality. If even a small percentage of the planet is focusing on creating a world based on light, love, and peace, we can definitely bring about some radical changes to this planet. Therefore, it's so important for us to stay focused on our goals of creating this new earth based on love and light, and not to succumb to fear, anger, nor separation. This does not mean that we stick our heads in the sand, but be the observers of what is transpiring, and not fuel the darkness by adding more anger and fear into the collective. We have the power to create a peaceful world. With this year being the year number 8, the karmic power year, next year being year number 9, the year of completion, and Pluto now fully in Aquarius for the next 2 decades. This has the potential to be the end of these corrupt systems, and we might start building a new year in 2026, year number 1. I think a lot of us are struggling to figure out exactly what to do in order to rebuild the system. This is the year to start taking a more active role in creating new systems within our communities. If you are not ready to do this just yet, You can definitely begin making an impact by just focusing your thoughts with consistency by visualizing this new world. Something to keep in mind is that if you're familiar with the Maharishi effect, research has shown that if only 1% of a given population meditates on peace, this has been shown to have a profound impact on surrounding populations. If we collectively focused our attention on love and light, we have the power to help shift the collective. And us light workers definitely comprise more than 1% of the population. If you are interested in assisting the collective during this difficult time, I posted a meditation on YouTube called Raising the Global Consciousness. I encourage you to utilize this meditation regularly. Although things are likely going to get pretty tumultuous in the 3D world this year, it is also important to stay grounded and neutral and remember that we are all headed toward a better place. So let's keep shining the light and focusing on creating this new earth. If you would like to know more, please follow me on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. You can also visit my website, Christina Psyd. That's Christina with the CH, PSYD, for more information regarding this collective evolution we are experiencing, as well as information regarding my book, The Journey of Discovering Inner Peace, which has many valuable tools that can be helpful in navigating this challenging yet amazing time. I am so excited to be sharing another amazing month with all of you. Stay tuned for my next podcast in February. Sending all of you lots of love and light from the heart of Mount Shasta.